Welcome to Empowered. I'm your host, Jessica Flynn of thejessicaflynn.com, and our show is on a mission to unleash local wisdom for widespread impact. We are committed to inspiring positive change and empowerment in our small community and beyond. Joining us today, we have a chef turned business lawyer who is taking her blend of culinary creativity and legal expertise into her law practice. Vanessa Locicero is a business lawyer, a mentor, the CEO and founder of the Soul Attorney Inc. and Locicero Legal Professional Corporation. With a focus on prevention and education, Vanessa is dedicated to helping entrepreneurs navigate the complexities of the law, ensuring they can stay out of court and focused on what they do best, growing their businesses. Her mission is to make legal knowledge accessible to all of us, to empower individuals to confidently handle legal matters, and to make informed decisions. Through her work, Vanessa seeks to foster a culture of empowerment and confidence where business owners feel equipped to tackle the legal side of entrepreneurship with ease and assurance. No big deal. Without further ado, please welcome Vanessa Locicero to the show.
Thank you so much for having me on today, Jess.
We're so excited to have you and to learn from you today.
Yeah.
And we will preface that what we talk about today, we're having a conversation with you as the lawyer. This is not legal advice.
Totally.
And so, to seek that out from yourself or a professional outside of the show. But we're really excited to have this casual chat and learn about your story and why business law, the whole thing. So the chef turned lawyer is really unique. So can you tell us a little bit about your startup story as a business lawyer?
Totally. I love the story because it is full of pivots. And for me, I started my journey in education thinking I was going to become a lawyer from a young age. Everyone said, that gift of the gab you have, go and use it. As I was finishing university and was about to go to law school and apply, I was not ready, not motivated, and in the right frame of mind to pursue that type of a head-down education that you would need for law school. And I was inspired by my roommate in university to pursue a passion of mine. And out of left field, I told everyone, instead of a master's degree, instead of law school, I'm going to cooking school. So I spent a couple years in cooking school and worked at some amazing hotels and beautiful five-star resorts. And in that, loved the hospitality industry, learned so much about working under pressure, working as part of a team, a lot of high stakes, instances. And when I came back from working at those beautiful places, I wanted to open my own restaurant. I was so inspired by the whole industry and come back to Ontario because I was working out west. And
right, at Banff,
I
right?
I was at the Fairmont Hotel in Lake Louise. It was stunning, a beautiful place to learn. And when I came back and, was kind of bummed about the reality of being a line cook and not working, the glamorous thing, chef life you see on TV. It's not as glamorous as it looks on
Even
TV.
when you are like the Michelin star chef, it's really not that glamorous.
For sure. Yeah, it's real work. And so wanted to be my own boss, always the, inspired and the most independent. But when I went to go and try and put the pieces together to open my restaurant and even just start a business plan, I was absolutely lost. And that really halted me in my tracks and ultimately inspired me to go to law school because I wanted to be a food lawyer, a business lawyer, help other businesses and people who were getting, had this passion of whatever creative outlet it was and wanted to turn it into a business. How do you get over the hurdle of not knowing all the other stuff that's out there that could put your passion at risk?
So you became a lawyer so one day you could open a restaurant with confidence.
That's right.
I love that.
And it's still in the works.
Right.
Still on the books.
You are so strong at laying that strong foundation for yourself and now through your work with other business owners.
Yeah.
So my own experience as an entrepreneur, it was, I'm starting a small business. I can do it on my own. I can get some free templates online. But I had this mindset that I wasn't big enough or ready to get legal support. It was going to be too expensive. That's what like Fortune 500 companies do. They have their team of lawyers. Can you help? Because since then, I have tapped into a team of lawyers for various needs in my businesses, and it is such an empowering and kind of safe feeling. So can you help us debunk that myth for other entrepreneurs and small businesses that, you know, legal protection and support can be accessible?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the biggest myths out there, and it is well founded. Like, you know, the reality is that traditional legal services are not as accessible to everyone in the marketplace that needs the support of lawyers. And but what's really exciting is that in the last several decades, you know, new structures of fee arrangements and new ways that lawyers are providing services are kind of coming online. And you're seeing technology, and you're seeing limited scope retainers, and you're seeing education and all these other interesting, innovative models making access to justice and access to these legal supports you know, way more accessible, bringing the barriers down. And so I think for people who are starting their businesses, realizing that if you need some legal support, it doesn't have to cost tens of thousands of dollars and a team of, you know, lawyers in black suits sitting at a boardroom table.
Because that is the picture,
That's
right?
the picture.
Yeah.
People think, oh my God, like, it's either that or nothing, or like I wing it, right? And I'm trying to debunk that. And you know, you can get someone who's an everyday lawyer who is not in a Fortune 500 law firm to give you services that are accessibly priced based on what they're doing for you and walk you through the process. So,
and why is it important in those early stages for businesses to properly set themselves up on the legal side of things?
Yeah, great question. And it's about prevention. I started my legal career in the litigation arena, and so really got to see some of the worst outcomes of people entering into different types of business deals and transactions without appropriate legal consultation and strategies in place to protect themselves. And so the biggest risk is ending up in court, ending up in a lawsuit, and having to, you know, disrupt your whole business, your whole life because of something that could have been avoided. And so that, you know, opportunity to avoid the risk is really where small businesses can shine if they are educated and they know, okay, these are the things I need to cover. Now let's put the strategies in place ahead of time.
Yeah, and depending on the type of business you have, there are certain things you need to consider. So,
Totally.
You know, I work with minors, for examples. That's a whole other slew of things we need to consider. But every business deserves and is a big enough deal, no matter where you are. If there is something in your heart that you are looking to make real and to, you know, make a living for yourself, it deserves that level of support.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's sometimes when I meet with clients who are just getting started, I always say, like, let's start with the end in mind. What's your goal? Like, once I know whether or not you want it to be a side hustle, or you want to turn it into a legacy corporation, or you want to create a startup that you can ultimately sell, you know, to the market or take public, or we always start with the end in mind. And, you know, then you can kind of determine what strategies will help you get to that designation.
And in my experience, it's so much better to have that kind of forward thinking, and you are a mentor, and I can see why mentorship has fed into your work with your clients, because it's some imposter syndrome or like really dreaming big and thinking of that long-term play. And it's, from my experience, so much easier, and that ease that you're committed to in those early stages, as opposed to, 5 years in, I've decided this might be a legacy company, or I might want to be acquired one day.
Totally. And I think my focus to create that ease and to create the confidence in making some of these decisions is all about education, because I have seen a lot of business owners get the ball rolling, build these successful entities, but they have no real idea of all of these hidden legal strategies that are not accessible to everyone if you don't talk to a lawyer, if you don't kind of get that inside scoop. So making the legal strategies and the questions and that information that's really going to help people make informed decisions about their business, getting that out to the public and really educating people is something that I'm really passionate about.
You certainly are. And how long have you been a lawyer?
It'll be 6 years this summer.
6 years.
Yeah.
And you're just coming up on your 2-year anniversary of your own firm.
That's correct. Yeah.
And I am absolutely blown away by how much you've grown, not only as an entrepreneur with your own firm, but your commitment to your community and servicing this need for legal mentorship and education. So we have a couple minutes before we go to break, after which we'll dive into some of that side of your business. But that side of your business is under the umbrella of the Soul Attorney, Inc. Can you tell us the story behind that brand and that name?
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. I get this a lot because some people say soul attorney, is that S-O-L-E? And I say no, it's like soul, like from the heart. And the reason that I called the business the Soul Attorney is because I wanted to create an avenue for people to live their passion. The same way I was so passionate about cooking and creating that, hospitality. I wanted to create a business that would allow other people the opportunity to let their soul's purpose sing and, give them the opportunity to step into that and create, a foundation that said, I have all the tools, I have the know-how, now I don't have to worry about all this stuff. I can just confidently focus on my passion and my, letting my soul do what we want. Because if you know entrepreneurs, you know that it's not a decision. It's something that's inside of you. You can't turn it off or turn it on. It just calls out. And so I wanted to give people who kind of heard that song and heard that nudge the tools to take it to the next level.
So you are the attorney for the soul-centered entrepreneur who's pursuing their passion, their vocation.
Yeah.
And I think also in working with you and being a colleague, you bring so much soul and passion to that mentorship and to that support. So I think it works both ways, that name, actually. We are going to take a quick break, after which we will dive into some of the specific services and mentorship pieces, that education that Vanessa and the Soul Attorney, Inc. helps with entrepreneurs. So stay tuned. We'll be back, and I'm Jess Flynn. Welcome back to Empowered. I'm your host, Jessica Flynn, and we are sitting with Vanessa Locicero of the Soul Attorney, as well as Locicero Legal Professional Corporation. So Vanessa is an entrepreneur herself. She is a lawyer dedicated to empowering our community of entrepreneurs and small business owners. And so Vanessa, we are about to dive a little deeper into your brand, The Soul Attorney, which is more on the mentorship and education side. So you started that brand kind of at the same time when you started your own law firm?
A little bit before.
Okay.
So I started the brand in 2021, and I started a podcast. So that was the podcast was the beginning of Soul Attorney. And I did a couple episodes, didn't get super far in. Things took off. But at the same time, I got started on realizing that as much as I was a lawyer, there was so much work to be done to communicate what was important about the legal stuff to, potential clients, the community, the people who were out there doing business without legal protection and legal support. So the education piece from day one was I'm spreading the word,
Your soul's calling to I don't just want to be hired as your lawyer. I want you to be informed making these decisions before people even hire you.
Yeah.
Or they're a different lawyer.
Totally.
Right?
And when I was in law school, one of the really foundational principles we learned a lot about was the fact that there's an access to justice crisis in Ontario and in Canada. And access to justice is this word that's kind of thrown around a lot in the legal profession about making access to justice a reality for a lot of people. And when I, from a market perspective, looked at legal services, I could see that, you know, there were those who could afford a lawyer's hourly rate and retainer in one echelon, and then there were those who were able to access, you know, certain legal supports through legal aid and those types of services. But there was a whole slew of people in the middle and all this whole market gap that really wasn't being served. You know, people just DIYing, Googling things, using AI to write legal documents, and people just winging it really in this scary limbo state. And then those are the people who end up dealing with a lot of litigation because the mistakes get made and they're not aware of the risks enough to take that proactive step. And so when I was looking at this challenge, again, coming from litigation, seeing who are my clients that were ending up in these lawsuits, I thought, like, we've got to do something better here to start to educate. And I had a dream for creating a course and, you know, all the legal things that I wish I knew when I was a chef that would have saved me from having to go to law
become
school.
A lawyer.
Yeah, go through the whole process. So I thought if I could make this course, that would be amazing. But then, so that was like an idea in the back of my mind. And as I launched my own law firm and I launched Sole Attorney and started like creating inside Sole Attorney, I just realized that when a lot of business owners get started, they stay as a sole proprietor. They start, you know, as the most simplest way of doing business.
Yeah.
And what are your lines of defense? You know, that's how I think. Like, what's your line of defense from the outside world that people are, you know, concerned about when they say, am I good? You know, as from a legal standpoint. And as a sole proprietor, you can generally start with having a great insurance policy and then some kind of contractual documentation that will, you know, protect you a little bit. So as a startup, that's like the step one, you know, and I could see that there were even barriers to getting access to those types of documents for people who are in startup phase. So I created a whole library of digital contract templates that were appropriate for people getting started. A general services agreement, a liability waiver, a privacy policy. You know, there's 15 different documents that I built.
Even just creating a website, I didn't realize you need like a terms of use
Totally.
for the website,
Yeah,
privacy policy. So all of that is in your contract.
All of it is in the library,
Yeah.
and I called it the Legally Lit Library.
Yeah.
And loved the idea of coming in, you know, grab what you need online. You don't need to book an appointment with the lawyer.
Grab what you need online that was created by a lawyer in Ontario.
That's correct.
For business in Ontario.
Yeah, but it's not legal advice. It's like not a law firm, like no solicitor-client relationship, but it's just like the document is there. AI didn't write it. You know that it kind of covers, you know, Ontario situations. And it comes with a video of me explaining how to do all the edits. So really has, you know, we've sold a whole bunch in the last couple years and have given like business owners across Ontario the ability to do business legally, feel that protection and know that, you know, I've got a document in place to support me. So yeah, that was a really exciting project to launch. That was, gosh, we're already in 2020. So that was 2022 when I put that shop together.
So you put the Legally Lit program together, this educational program. And lit is like lit up, like shine the light on the things that you were scared to look at in the dark. And now it's out here and easily accessible.
Totally.
The Legally Lit library with the contracts. I was also at an event where you combined that culinary creativity with your legal expertise. It was called Legal Eats. Tell us about that event. And please host another one because it was delicious.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a lovely event and it was an opportunity to combine my loves, as you said, for culinary and for legal empowerment. And so it was a 3-course meal that I cooked and prepared for everyone, and taught a legal lesson about, we called it Mixing Business with Pleasure, how to do business with friends and family. So really kind of a little play on words, but it's so important because especially in small business scenarios, people are often collaborating with friends, family, people they trust and they know. But unfortunately, it can be in those circumstances where a lot of red flags happen. And you still want to be able to break
bread at the end of the day at business, right?
Yeah. And by having it around a table, we had such a lovely conversation that, for me, bringing people together who are navigating kind of legal questions helps to create community and make people not feel so alone in what they're going through. And I think people are, when they have legal questions, they think like, I'm the only one. Like, how could I, be the only one thinking about this or worrying about this? And
am I the only one who's in the dark?
That's
I'm not legally lit.
Yeah. So creating an atmosphere where we can talk and, use each other's experiences to enlighten and shine a light on some of the risks.
And quickly, can you distinguish that difference between the mentorship work you do and then legal clients that you have?
Thank you. A really important piece too, because not everybody who is aware of like coaching and mentorship, it can be a gray line, but I see legal service as legal advice that we provide through the firm specific, to clients. And business mentorship is more from the soul side, and as the sole attorney brand, I like to really dive deep into the emotional, into the, your deep passions, your goals, that 30,000 foot strategy. Let's talk about all the moving parts and about you as a holistic individual, because, in business, you're only as strong on the outside as you are on the inside. And so keeping track of that, internal well-being as a business owner, navigating different transactions or pivots or things in your business is important. So that's why I love that.
I say this about you often. You're so wise, and I feel like you've already lived 100 lifetimes. I won't even tell everyone what your age is because they won't even believe it. So we want to wrap up by sharing with everyone how Vanessa has packaged all of this together in a very new and exciting really gift to the community, I will call it. So can you tell us about your upcoming Business Brilliance Bundle?
Yeah, thank you so much. The Business Brilliance Bundle is the culmination of all this work I've done in the last couple of years. And while I've sold the contracts and the course individually over the years, I realized I wanted to make it even more accessible as possible. So I'm packaging all 15 of the contracts, my whole Legally Lit course, which covers all the legal things you need to know about doing business. There's like 40 plus videos in it, and a half-an-hour mentorship call with me, all in one package, all for a really accessible price point. And so I'm really excited about this, and I think it's going to make a really big impact in the lives of a lot of people.
I do too, and looking at the Collingwood business community and surrounding area, the South Georgian Bay business community, I think that you play such a pivotal role in making sure that business and innovation that comes out of our region is sitting on a really solid foundation. So I want to thank you for the work that you're doing and the soul that you're bringing to it. And as we wrap today, can you paint a picture of your long-term vision of what you see the future of small business to be in our region?
Yeah, I believe that the small businesses in our region are the most resilient, innovative, and creative, people out there. And I'm so excited for what the future holds for our region. And I think in terms of, where we're at on a national level, like we're a force to be reckoned with. And I'm really excited to be a part of supporting, the business community in this, in this area, and just looking forward to keeping that train rolling for people.
You are a big part of the momentum behind this train. And what would be your one call to action then for those interested in starting a business or who are already in the early stages of small business?
Yeah, get educated. Education is everything. Look for resources. There's so much out there. But talk to a lawyer. Like, don't be afraid to reach out to someone in your community, whoever that is, you know, a licensed professional that you feel comfortable with. But talk to someone and really start to see how you can be preventative rather than waiting, you know, for something bad to go wrong before you call your lawyer.
Right. Proactivity, get the education, get the mentorship, and don't wait for problems.
That's right. Yeah. Plan for them.
Plan for them. Excellent. And can you give us a few details about an event you have coming up, Business Brilliance Barbecue, in celebration of?
Yeah, we are hosting the Business Brilliance Barbecue in celebration and elevation of the entrepreneurs in South Georgian Bay. It's going to be an amazing time, a live band. We're going to be supporting Home Horizon, which is a local charity that I support in various ways. And I'm really excited to, you know, bring the community together and just kick off the summer celebrating entrepreneurs in our community.
I can't wait for that event, and I'm sure there will be so many more. You're only 2 years into this journey, or 2+, and you've done so much for our community and continue to do so. So without further ado, we are going to bid everyone adieu and thank Vanessa Locicero, the sole attorney and Locicero Legal Professional Corporation, for sitting down with us today to help us find legal empowerment to feel legally lit. I'm your host, Jessica Flynn, and I will see you next time on Rogers TV and on my YouTube channel at thejessicaflynn.com.